What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Sportskeeda MMA News. Adesanya discusses other walkouts he had in mind for UFC 276. Was Pedro Munhoz looking for a way out against O'Malley? Khamzat Chimaev makes an ambitious call-out in the wake of UFC 276. Jon Jones struggles to take Adesanya seriously for his flamboyant appearance. Jon Jones tells us how he feels about Daniel Cormier. Find out what he said on this episode of Sportskeeda MMA News. The Last Stylebender once again proved to be one of the best entertainers in MMA with his incredible walkout inspired by WWE icon The Undertaker. Adesanya made his way to the octagon complete with the iconic grim music and blue lights holding an urn with Jared Cannonier's name on it. Such was the impact of the walkout, The Undertaker even acknowledged it himself. But it seems like Adesanya was in between a few ideas, all WWE related, before settling on the Undertaker theme. While discussing his walkout backstage, the middleweight champion said,
"So I just feel the moment. This came to me around Tuesday. I was just sitting around with the boys, lit one up, and then just like, cause during our workouts at the gym, sometimes I'll have like throwback Attitude Era entrances. Batista was on the list, Stone Cold was on the list, but then this just felt right.
Sorry Batista, maybe next time. Adesanya is one of few that really puts on a show before the fight even starts. From dance routines to paying homage to other forms of entertainment, fans want to tune in for Izzy even before the first round. He further elaborated on why he feels inclined to do these fun walkouts.
It's just art, man. This is the biggest show of the year, so I got to show out, you know? And yeah, it was entertaining, just like the fight.
Do you think Adesanya made the right choice, or should he have gone the Stone Cold route? Let us know in the comments. UFC 276's main card didn't exactly start the way many hoped it would. Sean O'Malley took on his toughest test to date in the form of Pedro Munhoz and could have perhaps passed with flying colours. While two of the judges gave the first round to Munhoz, it seemed like Sugar was beginning to find his rhythm and turn up the heat. However, tragedy struck when an eye poke stopped the bout. While this poke didn't seem like the worst we've seen inside the octagon, it was significant enough to stop the fight in its entirety. Fans have been slamming Munhoz by saying he was just looking for a way out. But was he? A member of the UFC staff ran into Pedro backstage and confirmed that the injury was legit. At the UFC host hotel this morning, just saw Pedro Munhoz. For all you doubters out there, his eye is swollen shut. Went to the hospital last night and his eye is scratched. This is real. By the way, he said he knows it was an accident and has nothing but respect for Sean. Make like Sean O'Malley and poke that subscribe button. And we won't deduct any points if you poke the like button too. Khamzat Chimaev is here to remind us once again just how much of a madman he is. The middleweight division and its champion Israel Adesanya were put on notice with Alex Pereira's stellar performance against Sean Strickland at UFC 276. The Brazilian landed his signature left hook and dropped Strickland in the very first round of their contest, reinforcing what many already knew. Alex Periera is a very scary dude. And speaking of scary dudes, there was another watching with eagerness. Khamzat Chimaev took to Twitter to call out Pereira, a man who most may not want to cross paths with. I want to fight with this guy at UFC, at Dana White. Let's make it. Boars is on quite the tear himself, with him probably being one win away from a title shot at welterweight and Pereira most likely fighting Adesanya for the middleweight strap next. This is a potential barn burner between two very intimidating men that could play out as a champ versus champ fight in the future. How do you think Chimaev and Pereira would go down? Israel Adesanya has never shied away from being his genuine self. He geeks out over anime all the time, he's dyed his hair pink, and gets his nails done. Largely, nobody cares. People can do whatever they want. But a certain few, like Jon Jones and Sean Strickland, feel as if the fresh nails take away from Adesanya as a fighter. After outpointing Jared Cannonier over 5 rounds at UFC 276, Adesanya called out Pereira and promised to leave him frozen like Elsa. Bones didn't take kindly to this. He took to Twitter and said in a tweet, "Bro, I can't stop thinking about this shit. How are you going to threaten a guy like Alex with glossy fingernails and a Frozen reference? I'm over here scratching my head." We don't know when Jon Jones will return to the octagon, but there's one thing we know for certain, it's that he's not an Adesanya fan. The two have been beefing for some time now, and the thought of them fighting each other still lives in the MMA community as an attainable super fight. Should Jon Jones try the French tip look for his nails? You might hate your iron-legged upstairs neighbor or that person who cut you off in traffic, but those grudges don't hold a candle to the feud that Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier have. From death threats to laying hands on each other before the fight, DC and Jones have proven that their rivalry transcends pumping the fight and is 100% real. Jon Jones wasn't just on Twitter to talk about Adesanya's nails, but he answered a fan's question pondering whether or not Jones still hates DC, to which he surprisingly replied, "I know you probably won't believe me, but at the end of the day, I think of DC the same way I think of all my other past opponents. Was just a past opponent. Once we get the knuckle sandwiches out of the way, there's really nothing to be mad about anymore." Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier first fought in 2015. Jones won this fight very decisively, but the feud didn't end there. The two argued and bickered until their rematch in 2017, a fight where Jones knocked DC out, but it's been officially overturned by the California State Athletic Commission due to Jones testing positive for a banned substance. Their beef went further than that, as the two have engaged in many Twitter wars since, but per Jon Jones, he has no ill will towards Cormier, for everything is said and done between the two. Daniel Cormier is officially a Hall of Famer, and Bones is undoubtedly headed there too. They're both great fighters, but truly reached a new level of competition through arguably the most bitter rivalry in the history of the UFC. And whether it's still alive or not, they both have better legacies because of it. Is Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier's rivalry the best in UFC history? Let us know in the comments section. That's it for today's update from Sportskeeda MMA News. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You'll find us on multiple social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Until next time. Also, make sure to drop a comment and potentially be featured in a future video. Here are some of the comments from previous videos. Yes, he's scared. McGregor must be laid to rest, because now he'll only be a shadow of the man he was. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. Your comments could be featured in the next Sportskeeda MMA News video. We always deliver daily content, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything going on in the MMA world. For updates, quotes, and exclusive interviews from all your favorite fighters, follow Sportskeeda MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in.